Hi guys, this is Miss Mitchell, and I would like to give you all some pointers on how to effectively participate in a Socratic seminar. So I know this is not new for you. However, I would love for you guys to sort of stretch your learning and add to your toolbox. So basically, we need to decide, or hopefully by the end of this activity, you will know how to use the Socratic seminar to actively engage in a close reading analysis of a text. So think back to last year when we covered the Habitudes lesson on the Indian talking stick, which reminds us that before we lead, we must listen. And I think listening is a very important part of participating in a Socratic seminar. Also, leaders seek to understand the perspective of others before they communicate their own points. And this idea of understanding other perspectives and divergent thoughts is the add-on from 10th grade. So this is a new skill for everyone. In addition, good listeners show empathy and ask good questions. As a result, they earn the right to be heard. And so we will practice this habitude as we go through the Socratic seminar this semester. So these learning targets are based on AKS 30. Basically, we will, by the end of this activity, prepare for a discussion by analyzing a text and preparing questions that require deep thought and analysis, meaning no simple questions that can be answered with a yes or no. In addition, you should be able to ask questions about the text or the topic or the task to help contribute to a discussion. You should be able to use evidence to support and challenge ideas, to consider different perspectives to include in a discussion, as well as assess evidence or reasoning used by others. So we have some basic norms or rules that we should follow during the seminar. Basically, we have to listen carefully. You address one another respectfully, even if it's your friend, no side jokes, because it is very vulnerable being in a circle and sharing your thoughts. And so we want to make everyone feel warm and welcome and safe. Also, base your opinions on the text. So you're constantly referencing the text, paragraph numbers or line numbers. Address comments to the group. No side conversations to your neighbor or to the outer circle. Always reflect back to the speaker what you understand and how you think the speaker feels about the text or the idea. In addition, monitor your airtime. Don't hog the floor or just take control of everything and not allow everyone else to voice their opinions. And last but not least, relay all your statements to particular passages to clarify and to elaborate on ideas. So that leads us to the don'ts. Do not raise your hand. Basically, if you are sensitive to what other people are saying, you will find the opportune moment to chime in. Be sure not to interrupt or cut people off. Do not switch topics before the previous question is resolved. Don't be passive. You have to actively engage in this activity. And please avoid being rude or critical of questions, answers, or ideas. Again, we want everyone to feel welcome and safe while we are discovering new meanings and digging deep into the text. So in the end, especially for our shy students, you have to be courageous. You have to present your own ideas and reasoning. Try to be flexible and willing to change your mind in the face of new and compelling evidence. And sometimes that's a difficult task for us because we are so convinced that our initial analysis is correct. But it's okay. We can consider all perspectives and then draw new conclusions. All right, so the first thing you want to do is to pose thought-provoking questions. For your homework, I gave you one assigned question, and then I asked you to read through the text and to jot down 3 to 5 first impression questions. For example, why do the first two sentences contain qualifiers? Or why does Ellison suggest that his audience might be fans of the animated cartoons? Why does Ellison say hung the bird on the Charlie in paragraph 2 instead of nicknamed him? And why does Ellison provide the scientific name Mimus polyglottus in paragraph 4? These types of questions do not have a simple answer. It requires analysis and much discussion. So I look forward to your original questions and for the deep thought-provoking opportunities that we will have. All right, another thing you need to do is to share your opinion of the text. There are certain frames you can use, especially if you're very shy and hesitant and nervous in the beginning. I believe that, and then you state what you believe based on your reading. Or in paragraph 7, I found blank and it seems like something else, and so maybe you're comparing text. In paragraph 6, I think the author's use of repetition reveals his critical view of society. And so hopefully by the end of this PowerPoint, you will have more frames to help you create your questions. Also, you want to explore divergent perspectives. So maybe, Mark, I heard you mention paragraph 7, please tell us more. Or my idea is similar to Jennifer's idea that the paragraph 7 is juxtaposed against a different text. Or I see that Jennifer has a common link between what Bryce and Owen said. Possibly we could say how one student indicated another idea. And so we are constantly going to the text and making new connections and clarifying ideas. With that, we sometimes need to seek clarification when our classmates offer ideas or an analysis. So do not fear, you can ask speakers to clarify when you are confused or you want more information, but you just have to do so politely. And Jennifer, could you please rephrase that? Or I did not understand. Malcolm, please repeat your idea. Mackenzie, can you say more about paragraph 7? I'm not really sure I understand your train of thought. Or in other words, are you saying, and then you restate what you think you heard. Regardless, I know that there will come a time during the conversation where things will sort of hit a lull, and so we will need someone to move the conversation forward. So basically, you have to listen carefully, process what others are saying, and change the subject when it seems like the topic is exhausted. So you can consider saying, I think we have exhausted the topic of birds. Can we move on to the lizards? Or does anyone have final comments to add about paragraph 17, or shall we move on to a different subject? In addition, we want to encourage others to speak. I know that it is easy to only be concerned with yourself, but as we practice to become democratic citizens and to have civil discussions, we must pull people into the conversation. You cannot have a conversation with yourself, so maybe you can try, Ralph pointed out, paragraph 7, do you see it differently? Or invite someone to make a conclusion, have someone to draw conclusions or to show how ideas are similar or different. Consider inviting someone to see gaps in your reasoning. Have them question what you're stating in the group. So in the end, to have an effective Socratic seminar, you want to make sure you share your opinion of the text. You stimulate thought with open-ended and thought-provoking questions. You want to propel the conversation by responding to questions with textual evidence. Seek to understand other perspectives by probing reasoning and evidence. Explore divergent perspectives. Respond thoughtfully to diverse perspectives, make new connections, encourage others to speak and participate, and finally, make sure we resolve contradictions when possible. So I look forward to our conversation in a few days.